Have you ever thought that you're the only homeschooling mom that doesn't have her act together? Because on Instagram or YouTube, you see all these beautiful curated videos and reels, and you're like, oh my gosh, that is not what my homeschool looks like. Well, that's what I thought. Last year, I felt like a complete failure half the time because I wasn't baking sourdough or in the perfect outfit, and a lot of days I was just trying to survive and get it all done. So, over the next 12 weeks, at least 12 weeks of our school, I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you what's actually happening in our school. The good, the bad, the messy, the unpredictable, the chaos, all of it. And we follow a Charlotte Mason term. So, we do 3 terms per year. So, I'm just going to commit to showing you behind the scenes 12 weeks of our term 1 of our homeschool. I'm not holding anything back. So this is gonna be more vlog style. I hope you like it. And if not, every Thursday I'll be releasing my normal YouTube videos, and then these will air on Tuesdays. So if we haven't met, my name is Brandy Mouse. I'm a homeschooling mama of a 7-year-old who's in 2nd grade. We have a little toddler in tow. He's 2. And my husband and I both homeschool, as I am a full-time working mama as well. So if you're excited to see behind the scenes of what goes on in our homeschool and you want to follow us along, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And these will come out every single Tuesday. So let's jump on in. And in this video, we're going to talk about week 1 and week 2 of our homeschool. Okay, so starting off with week 1, we started July 7th. I really wanted to start on July 14th, but because we're heading to Europe, I really needed to get 6 weeks in before we headed to Europe. I wanted to do 2 weeks of the Netherlands, 2 weeks of France, and 2 weeks of the United Kingdom. And I just wanted us to get in a good flow before we left. And because of how our fall schedule is looking in terms of travel, I just wanted to make sure that we started early enough where everything was getting done. So we did start a week earlier than I really wanted to. And the week before that, we were out of town for family stuff, and then it just happened that everyone needed to be at our house that first week of homeschool. In terms of, we had contractors here that were pouring concrete. We had our 1 year in our house walkthrough with the builder that happened to be here. There was the termite people, the bug people. I don't know. For some reason, every single person needed to be here that week. And so I had this beautiful plan wrote out, and spoiler alert, it did not go as planned. So what did we have planned? I'm a planner, and if you haven't watched my video yet on our 2nd grade curriculum, I'll link that up there and you can go ahead and click on it and watch that. But what I had put in here was that we were going to do our Blossom and Root, so our literature that we do Monday through Thursday. Then I had math facts that stick. We were on our last week of that. Plus, we were starting Math with Confidence 2, and then all about reading, all about spelling, which was new to us this year, handwriting, and we do what's called the Red Book. It's the reading ladder. I talked about that in my video. Then we were going to do Netherlands, art study, composer study, typing, drawing, independent reading each day, culinary arts, Shakespeare. Oh yeah, and we were going to go to the zoo and science. We were also going to do science, and we were going to start my 2-year-old on year 1 of the early learners year 1 for Blossom and Root. All that did not happen. It did not happen at all. So what did go really well? 1, we got our main stuff done, which was fantastic. Monday through Thursdays when we really want to get all of our core subjects done. So we got literature done. We got math done. We got all about spelling, all about reading, our handwriting. We also started reading Mary Poppins as our read aloud. So all of that got done, and Netherlands, which we did Lillian Thistle's Netherlands art project. And it was so much fun. We loved that. Plus we watched their videos. Plus we used some other resources that I had for the Netherlands. And so we did get all that done. Science we finished. And so all that went great. What didn't get done is the beauties. No Shakespeare, no artist study, no composer study, and we were under a heat wave. So no zoo, which caused a complete meltdown, of course, when you're like, it's going to be our end of the week zoo and everything. And then we can't go because the weather. And So it was, and then we had people coming and going. So things did get a little hectic. So we didn't get to the beauties, and it just was what it was. And Bodhi's year one just fell to the wayside. Like, it just didn't happen. And we did decide we are going to wait. We're going to hold off. We have his little Montessori shelf down there that I'll like rotate out some stuff, but we're not actually going to start it until probably maybe January. We're still trying to figure out if we're going to actually start in the fall or January and just be on a different schedule, which I actually think may work better. His birthday's in April, so he's not even 2.5 yet. So we read to him, we do that. Let's maybe hold off till he's 2.5 or closer to 3. So I think we are going to hold off, but we may do some of the stuff. We're just not going to stress about it. Like, he does a ton of play. We read a ton. He listens to Mozart. Like, he's going to be fine. So I think we've decided to cut that off to the wayside for right now. It just didn't feel right to try to cram it in with everything when he also watches our family study. So like when we're doing our read aloud, he's listening. When we're doing science, he's watching the videos, or he's also looking at the pictures. When we're doing geography, he's watching it. So I think he's just naturally absorbing it, and I'm okay with that right now. So we have decided, that was a quick pivot, to put that on just the back burner for right now. I think I'm still going to do some sensory bends and stuff, but I'm not going to worry about everything. I'm not going to go through it each week. I'm just going to do what I've been doing, and that's going to be plenty. And so with that being said, I was feeling completely defeated because I was like, oh my gosh, we're supposed to be doing typing. I do want to get the beauties in. And so I was like, it's okay. Next week, week 2. So what went really well with week 1 was just like getting our main stuff done, getting back in the hang of it. My daughter really thrives under routine. So I think she's actually been doing better emotionally since we're back to a more, not regimented, but a more like schedule. Ever since the end of April when we started body study and we were doing that, it was like on the fly. Like we do a little bit here, a little bit there. It wasn't the same as we are now, which is where it looks like first thing in the morning, we all get dressed, we do breakfast. She's usually done and everything by 7, and then she has 30 minutes of play. And then at 7:30, we go down. We're done by 8:30, 8:45. And then I'm in my office by 9. And when we go down, we're doing literature, so Blossom and Root. We do math. We do her 10 minutes of independent reading where she's reading to me. So yeah, that's the flow of what we were doing. And then they play, and we brought up her handwriting books, her sketch book, her, like, we call it the red book, it's the ladder book, and we brought all that upstairs to leave upstairs. So what she's been doing is doing, like, her sketch. If she gets bored or something, she'll go grab it. Her handwriting while, like, they're doing lunch or something, or if they're outside playing, she'll sit down and do it at the table and things like that. So we're not sitting down and just doing handwriting. We're doing it throughout the day whenever she wants, which has actually been really nice. We've been doing the read aloud either in the morning over breakfast or like during the day. If they're outside, I'll have them sit down and either I or my husband will read to them. And then after she does a rest from 12 to 1, which we've been utilizing the Yodo audiobooks. I've wanted her to listen to audiobooks for so long, and she always wants to listen to music. For rest, we said, you know what? We're not going to do music during rest because you don't actually rest if there's music. She's dancing. So instead, if you want one of the audiobooks, and I like have so many Yodas. And so she just finished up Willy Wonka and Matilda, and she's obsessed with audiobooks now. So she's going through those, and then she narrates them back to me. And then we've been letting her watch the movie. So she's watched the old Willy Wonka, she watched the newer one, and she's obsessed with Wonka. And then she watched Matilda. So that's like a treat that we have. So that's been going really well. And then same thing with the red book, and we have this Mindbenders book. We've just been doing that while one of us is cooking dinner or something, we'll sit down and do it with her. So that's been good. And then at 1 o'clock, her and my husband go down and they do all about reading, all about spelling. They set 20-minute timers, so 40 minutes. And then she can go play, she can do whatever. And we have been doing our loop schedule. So either science, geography, whatever we're doing that day after dinner. So we eat really early. We're like 4:30 because we find if we eat earlier, the kids just don't want to snack. And they actually eat a better dinner. And so after dinner, before baths and showers and all that kind of stuff, we've been doing that loop schedule. And that's been working so good. And then what happened was, because of just like people in our house and all that kind of stuff, week 1, Friday, like after the week, we just all needed a break. We were supposed to go to the zoo. That didn't happen. So we didn't do any school. We actually took Friday off. And then Saturday, we did science, where we built out a whole food web and read about food webs and food chains. That was so fun. We loved that. And we did our geography. And that's when we actually did the Netherlands pottery. It was like a paper plate with marker pottery to look like their pottery art project. So we actually did those on Saturdays, which gave us like a nice break. And so then going into week 2, so week 1 felt like a win, but also a little bit of a disaster. Just to be honest, like it was a win, but a little bit of a disaster. Then week 2, I was like, we're going to get composer study in, we're going to get artist study, we're going to get Shakespeare in, and artists just took the wayside. Like composers, artists just took the wayside again, but we found a really, once again, all of our cores were done Monday through Thursday. We did our literature, which we talked about similes. Yes, week 1 we were on onomatopoeias, week 2 similes. We read a ton of fun picture books. That was really fun. Then we finished up our math facts that stick, and we finished math with confidence. All about reading, all about spelling, handwriting, read book, all that got done. We did another week of the Netherlands and did another art project, the wooden shoe art project with construction paper with Lily and Thistle. And then we did our science project with where she got a look in our microscope that we got that I showed in my product haul. We did a really cool microscope I got off at Amazon, and we looked at plants and we wrote out like their plant sales and all that stuff. And that was such an easy like project that she loved. I let her go out in the woods, pick a bunch of leaves, and then she got to look at them and then draw them in her naturing book. And it was like such a low lift science project, which was really, really good because I had a crazy busy week with work. And then we did Shakespeare. So we did get to Shakespeare, but here's what we found with us, that if we can save the beauties till the weekend, like Saturday, it just works so much better with our schedule. Friday is really a day that I feel like by Friday, we all just need a break more so than Saturday. Like we just need a breather, because on Fridays, I don't work full day at work. I'm usually in my office until 10 and then I'm done. So it's nice to be able to get in there at 8 to 10, finish up work and then be done. And then we all just get to breathe. And there's nothing that we need to get done as long as we get everything done Monday through Thursday. And when I say everything, I mean like our course subjects, not so much our loops. And so then on Saturday, what we ended up doing was we ended up doing our art project again. So we did the shoes and we got Shakespeare done. And it was just, and I think that's what we're going to do, is save our art projects and Shakespeare for Saturdays. Because one, the art project, sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, I gotta get all this stuff out. And then I'm like trying to look like, when's my next meeting? And so I find that on Saturdays, it's a much better day for us to do that type of stuff. So we did our project, then we jumped into Shakespeare and we're doing Read Aloud Revival, their Shakespeare, summer Shakespeare thing. And I was so concerned. I've never read a single Shakespeare play, y'all, at all. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to read this, like what, or understand it. I'll be able to read it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to understand it. And she has done such a beautiful job of putting together this packet. And so we did week 1 and we both fell in love with it. She has a character map, and that was like the most brilliant thing. I think whenever we get into even our literature studies, like when we read The Hobbit, there's just like a lot of characters in some of these books. And I think having the character map was such a good way, because as I was reading, we'd go and point at the characters, and she was able to connect much better with what was going on, because she wasn't trying to like, who is that character? She could see, and she was like, oh, okay, that's right. And so having that character map was so good, especially with Midsummer Night's Dream, where there's like so many characters. So we did that. I read it through the Osborne, whatever it is, reading that she suggested. And then we read through it. We also read Will's Words. I think that's what it is, William's Words, which is all about the words that we get from William Shakespeare. And we fell in love with Shakespeare. She went upstairs and she was telling my husband, her dad, she was like, oh my gosh, let me tell you this story. He's in love with her, but then this happens and then he turned into a donkey. And I was like, this is so cool. So really, really loved that. And now we're going to be going through that the next 5 weeks where we're going to act it out and everything. So I ordered like fairy wings and a crown. We're going to let my 2-year-old participate in the play, and me and my husband are going to participate as we act this out, and we're going to start memorizing some of the lines. So that was really, really well. Now, another thing that happened is with Lily and Thistle, we have her watercoloring class. Then we have the Around the World. She just launched a membership, and so I saw in there there's an art study and composer study. So since I'm like not great at getting that off the ground, we did artist study last year, but for some reason this year I've just been like, oh, and we are going to do it, but I think I'm going to do hers. So I just have something that is not me having to think, what all do we need to do? And we have all the books for Van Gogh, Monet, like all these artists. So I think we're going to use her. And she has the composer study, so that's going to be super helpful. That is not my expertise. So like having someone else that has that, I'm really excited about that. So that is what has been happening. We did not get to composer studies again. We did not get to artist study, but this week we are. It's like on the docket and it's going to happen. So that's how week 1 and week 2 have turned out. One thing that I've learned is like this new schedule that I wasn't sure about is working really, really well for us, where we get all of our core stuff done morning and then afternoon. And then we have these long breaks for play and then doing stuff after dinner, and then not doing school on Friday, but doing our arts and beauties on Saturday. So I'm excited to see how this schedule continues to play out, and I'm dedicated to getting the beauties in there. So that is what's been going on in our homeschool. So real quick recap, I'm loving our schedule. I'm loving that Riley is super into the Yodo card. So I'm excited to see what other books that she decides to read for that. I'm really excited to jump into more Shakespeare and run down that, and to have a curriculum, not a curriculum, but some guidelines to follow with the artist study and the composer study. I think that's going to help me just us get it done. So that's what happened week 1, week 2. Not perfect by any means. Oh, and I have to get typing in. We have to figure that out. So I got to put that in somewhere. So I am super excited to see how week 3 goes, and hopefully you'll follow along our journey over the next 12 weeks. And hopefully this inspires you to see that it's not all rainbows and butterflies. I'm figuring this out as well. I'm sure my house is sometimes a mess. Between taking care of the kids, homeschooling, also working full time, like I can promise you it's not going to be this perfect Instagram reel, but we enjoy each other. We're having fun, and we're fitting in things that work for our family. And I hope you do that as well. It doesn't have to look like what everyone else is doing. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. And then in the comments, tell me what is one thing that's working right now for you in your homeschool.